We both organizing this Qlik Meetup. So this is Mark Costa. I'll let him introduce himself.
Hey, Mark Costa.
So this is Mark Costa.
I just hate introductions. I'm Data and DevOps Director at IPC Global. I have 18 years or maybe more of experience with Qlik. So I'm here since Qlik View 7 or 8, I don't know. And then since then we're exploring and working with Qlik, integrating with everything that we're capable. Good.
Yeah, so I'm Igor Alcantara. Also work with IPC Global, Director of Data Science and Education. We both are Qlik MVPs.
Yes.
The only company in the world that has 2 MVPs,
Yes,
IPC Global.
Exactly.
And we the captains of this meetup, the Northwest meetup, Boston and Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
So we took over part of the country, and this is what we do. Is an education event. It's not sales event. It's an education event. And we also have a blog, Data Voyages. We put a lot of content there, video, text, about Qlik, and a few things that data related, not necessarily Qlik, agnostic. So let's talk about AI in Qlik. And before presenting AI, what Qlik can offer in terms of BI, it is important to understand when we say AI, what is AI, because there's a lot of misunderstanding about AI. Actually, in the 1950s, there was a famous sales trainer that he has this exercise like, sell me this pen, and people had to convince him to buy the pen. Now it's easy. I can tell you, has AI, and a lot of people will buy it. And that's the approach a lot of companies has. So AI is not everything, and AI, it's not something that will take our jobs and everybody will be unemployed, but it's not something that is, it's this innocent little technology that, it's temporary. It's here to stay, but there's a lot of confusion. People do not understand what is AI. So let's start by understanding what is not AI. So AI, it's something that you don't have to program the rules. So if you have to program rules or the logic or the steps to perform something, then it's not AI. It's just regular programming. Like if you have simple base rule systems. What happened? It's back. If you have simple rule-based systems, for example, you create a system that will approve or decline loans for a customer, but you have the rules. If your credit score is this, if your amount you're asking is this and that, then you approve or decline. It's not AI. It might look automatic, it might look, there's no human intervention, but there's a programming behind it. Automation scripts, they look pretty smart. They do a lot of things in sequence. They look intelligent, but it's not AI because you have to program the rules, the sequences, the blocks. So it's not AI. And of course, it's not Agent Smith from the Matrix that will kill us all. It's not that. It's not the evil force. It's something actually way more simpler. AI, there's many definitions. The one that I like is a software that will perform a task that was not designed to do it specifically. I can have a system that will approve or decline loans. If it is based on AI, you don't have to put the rules. You just inform the behavior. So for example, you provide historical data of previous loans and you flag the loans that were bad and good. So you want to only approve the good loans, people who not default, things like that. But you don't provide the rules. The AI will then learn the rules from your data. Or an autonomous car, you cannot train an autonomous car to react for every single situation that might exist because it's impossible. There are too many. Or an AI who will play chess. You cannot inform every single possible play. It's impossible. There's too many. Like there's a Go, that famous Asian game. The number of possible plays, it's higher than the number of atoms in the universe. How can you teach an AI to play it? And if they play pretty well. In that case, the game is you teach the rules and there is a reward mechanism. This is your reward, this is your goal, and it will find a way to reach the goal, which for a lot of AIs is problematic. If you say, I will create an AI to save the planet and improve the environment, oh, kill the humans. So, of course, we need to be careful about that.
Because you can put like some, like you said, for that, you can put like some
restrictions and things like that. So that is what is AI, if I don't have to program. And the greatest benefit is, in order to perform a task, it needs to learn the relationship within the data. If you get it like a specialist, it will be years of studying and all of hypotheses, and the AI will do that naturally based on its statistical systems. And there's many different types of AI, like generative AI, like ChatGPT, very famous. Predictive AI, like Qlik Answers, which we'll talk today. Prescriptive, adaptive, interactive, vision, like face recognition, for example. So this is these are some of the types of AI that we have. Now, there was a it's not a product. There's we'll call it a brand in the Qlik platform called Qlik Stage. And I will just mention briefly what is Qlik Stage, because you might find in Qlik website, Qlik Stage, you might be confused. Wow, what is Qlik Stage? And what does it actually do? Can I buy Qlik Stage? How much it costs? Qlik Stage, it's not a product. Qlik Stage, it's basically it's an umbrella. It's a brand name. So all the AI capabilities within Qlik, they call it Stage. But it's actually it's a different product, and sometimes not even a product, is like a feature inside an existing product. And so everything that I explain here, it's part of Qlik Stage, but it's not a product. So I like to bring this just to eliminate any confusion. So if you're integrating your applications, automations with ChatGPT, for example, that's part of Qlik Stage. If you have machine learning in Qlik with Qlik Answers, it's Qlik Stage. If you have the LLM chatbot, Qlik Answers, it's Qlik Stage. But also if you have those like small features inside a Qlik application that are AI powered, those are also part of what they call Qlik Stage. So there are, and that's the title of this session, AI capabilities of Qlik. So what are the AI capabilities of Qlik? So Qlik Stage is how Qlik name everything. I personally like to organize the different capabilities in 3 different categories. That's how I personally organize. They're either native, integrated, or embedded. So this is all Qlik can provide in terms of AI. First is native. Native are things that you don't think they are AI. They are not an actual product. They're just a feature inside an existing product, but they are AI powered. So if you ever work with inside a Qlik application with the data manager, data manager, you drag and drop different tables. No, it's no code. Drag and drop tables, and it will recommend you associations, how the tables will be associated. That's an AI working behind the scenes. That's a native AI capability. Or the data profiling, also in the data manager. Data profiling will identify what are your geographical information columns, and it will automatically create QVGs for you, informing that's the city in alias's name and country codes, etc. automatically, so then it can be fed back to your maps. So there's another native capability. You create automatic calendars for you, all of those. Key drivers is a cool feature we have in the Qlik Sense applications. Associative insight is something when you go to selections tools, you can select a field and it shows insights based on that. So these are some AI native capabilities in the Qlik application. Again, they're not specific tools or products, they're just features of existing products. And we don't think they're AI, they're native in the tool. Another one is integrated. Integrated are AI capabilities that do not belong to the Qlik platform. They are external. So Qlik can provide all of these AI capabilities. However, if you prefer to use other technologies, or even you have things in other technologies and you want to integrate within Qlik, you can. So that's Qlik RML, it's great. But if you have Data Robot, Azure ML, Amazon SageMaker, these are other 3 automatic machine learning tools. You can do your machine learning there and then just integrate with Qlik. Or Bedrock, for example, which is a language, Amazon Bedrock, which is It's a service that AWS provides for large language models. Actually, in my demo, I'll show one example of that. So you can integrate it. Hugging Face, it's kind of a GitHub for large language models. I use it a lot for translating services, etc. It's very cost effective, like running OpenAI APIs, for example, for large documents, for large processing. We were doing an exercise. If we were perform the task we want to perform using OpenAI, we'll have to pay something around $12,000. I think that was my estimate. We pay $9 in Hugging Face, just the basic developer monthly subscription. So I can do externally and then integrate with Qlik. No problem. Qlik is not jealous. And we have the embedded, which is what we are focused today. Embedded are separate products. They usually were acquisitions that Qlik made over the last years. And those are the big three. Qlik AutoML, Inside Advisor, Qlik Answers. So, and I'll explain what each one is. But basically, machine learning, conversational AI for structured data and unstructured data. This is basically what we're providing. Now, let's start with Qlik AutoML, all of those threes. So it's AutoML, machine learning, automatic machine learning. So it's no code. That's what the auto comes from. And it provides machine learning, and it's fully integrated with the Qlik platform. And for some reason, this is locking me out. Come on, back. So, an AutoML has two separate areas or functions. One is the experimentation. So experimentation is the learning process, the machine learning. The machine has to learn. The learning process, it's basically you provide, we call this supervised learning. So you provide your data, your historical data, to AutoML, and you provide with the task, with the goal. Like, want you to predict how many points did Boston Celtics will score the next game? Or which one of these clients will cancel? Or these patients will cancel the appointment, or how many of these patients, or which of these patients will be readmitted, or what will be the length of stay of these patients, things like that. What will be the revenue for the next quarter? So you provide, that's the question, and then you provide data from the past, so then it can learn from it. It's like, I want you to build a rocket ship to the moon. This is all the books we have in physics, in rocket science, and do your job. It's basically what it's doing. But how do you learn that? What is the best technique to understand? So there are many, we call these algorithms. There are different recipes to perform the same task. For a few, let's say logistic regression would be better, XGBoost would be better for others. So there's many different algorithms. Which one will be the best? So I'm old school. I used to do this manually, like writing code in R or Python. So the way we do it is, first you prepare the data for machine learning. You need to do a few data preparation for machine learning. Then once you get that, you get the first algorithm. You pick, let's say, your best 8 candidates of algorithms. You write the code for the first one, like the XGBoost. You write the code for the second one, the third one, the fourth one, run the code, get the predictions. And then you need to split your data set into validation and training, get the validation, and then you evaluate which one is performing better, has the best results, and then you implement and you deploy it. All of this is weeks of development. Qlik AutoML is no code, so you don't have to do that. Qlik AutoML does that. You don't even need to know what is all of these things. You don't need to know these. If you want to, you can go to datavoyagers.net, our blog, and we have articles explaining the theory behind it. But you don't need to. Qlik AutoML does. It knows for you. I can watch a TV without knowing how a TV works, or watch a football game without knowing how to play. It's the same. I'm just having the fun. So that's experimentation. But the two biggest benefits out of this are, one, for machine learning in general, in order to make a prediction, the machine learning is forced to to learn the rules. So the greatest benefit you get is not the prediction itself, but the understanding what is going on, why these customers are canceling, why these prospects that I was so sure they will sign, they're not signing, and I spent like a year investment pursuing the customer. So why is this happening? So the rules behind it. And in the second part, when I actually would do the demo, I'll explain this better. The second greatest benefit, and now it's only the Qlik platform, is all the other platforms that have this, they are based on consumption. So you pay based on your consumption. You pay by the hour. It's like Uber. So the hard truth nobody tells you is you're never going to get the best model the first time you try. It's like a science. It's exactly like science. You get your data. The data is all you have, but you don't know if there's data that you don't have that you need it, or maybe you need to treat your data, you need to do some transformation. So you do the best you can, you do a little research prior, and then you work with the machine learning. But then you get like a module back that is not that good. That doesn't make sense. Let me do a little digging, let me see what happens. Oh, maybe if I bring weather data, maybe if I do this, do that. And then you do a second try and a third try until you actually get the module you like. If you do that in Amazon, for example, or Azure, you're paying for that computing time. So you're being penalized by experimenting. So with some companies, they don't have like infinite budget, have to do is, well, yeah, I think we need to live with this not so good module just because it's the end of our budget, which is terrible. Qlik AutoML, infinite experimentation. Experiment as many as you like. Even if you don't use it, it's included in your subscription. You can experiment. If you do one experimentation, 1 million experimentation, same thing. One developer, 10 developers, Qlik AutoML does not charge you more. There's not even a license cost associated to AutoML if you are in the Qlik Cloud. It's part of the Qlik Cloud. It's there. The second part of AutoML is the deployment. I have the module. It's good. I want to put in production. Now it becomes an asset in my Qlik Cloud, so all other applications can consume and send the data, get the prediction, and get the predictions back. So it becomes, so that's the deployment. In other tools, you have to work like with ML ops tools like ML Flow and others in order to deploy a module, create an endpoint, requires more programming or a lot of configuration. In AutoML, it's you click a button, you give your deployment a name, confirm, it's done. So the beauty is, once it's done, you can consume in many different ways. You can consume in your Qlik script, in your Qlik UI, and even outside of Qlik, because there is a real-time API available that you can submit data to the API, get the predictions back. For example, I did some exercises where I created a machine learning module in Qlik and I consume in Python. And it's a REST API, super simple to use. So that's the first product. The second one, Insight Advisor. Insight Advisor, it lives inside Qlik applications, but also you can access outside Qlik applications. So Insight Advisor is Qlik's NLP NLG2, natural language processing, natural language generation. So it's natural language process in the Qlik application for the structured data. So you can talk to your data module. How you search for specific data in a database table? You need to know SQL. But how old were you when you learned SQL? I was probably 13, 14, and I was pretty young. But most people, it's not a natural language. I mean, English for me is very hard, but it's at least it's natural. But SQL, it's different. Insight Advisor is using natural language, just how you learn to speak when you were little to get answers from your data. It's like a ChatGPT that you can ask questions to your data. structured data. That's inside advisor. So I can ask a question, what is the average BMI of my patients? And then we'll answer your question. So you don't need to know select, AVG, open parentheses. So you don't need to know a syntax.
So like upper management doesn't have to know the programming.
Yeah. Or ask a developer to run this report, or things like that. Or even know the specific Qlik functions, expressions, etc. So that's the natural language thing. And by the way, there are some major improvements in the language engine of Inside Advisor to be announced next year. So that will be really exciting. And it generates insights because it's, and I'll explain that in a minute. You can use text input, you can type it, or it can be voice inputs, you can talk to it. And in the second part of the demo, I'll show this. It can be enhanced by vocabulary, so you can train the Inside Advisor with your business rules, with your terms, with your vocabulary. Because there's, let's say you have a specific term. I remember there's a customer, they have like this term called household, which for them have something very specific. What is a household? For them, they have a very specific term. Was the household at the time of an event, for example. And I'll show an example of that. Also, we have something called business logic in Qlik, so you can use business logic to improve the answers the Inside Advisor gives. But it's also natural language generation and in chart generation capability. So it gives you an insight in forms of an answer, textful answer, but also in forms of charts. So you ask a question and it'll give you charts to answer the question, just like I was showing before, like the Alexa. I'll show the Alexa skill again in a few minutes. So you give you charts, and sometimes even for developers, experienced developers, you can use it. If you get like stuck, like, well, what will be the best visualization for this? Well, let me work in collaboration with Inside Advisor. I ask my question. And then it shows me different charts, and oh, this is interesting. I never thought of that. And then I created the chart for me, and then I include in the application, and then I take all the credits, and without telling anyone, except at this moment. I'm not smart. Just use AI. So, and it learns from your feedback based on the vocabulary things that I show. And one thing that I like about Qlik is it doesn't give you one option to do things. Most tools they give, this is one way to do this task. It gives you multiple ways. So you can use Inside Advisor based on a dimension or measure. I don't know the question that I want to ask, but I know sales is very important. Let me click sales, let me click region, and let me see what it gives me in terms of insights. Or you don't know exactly what fields you need, but you know you want to do a k-means analysis. You want to do a correlation analysis. You pick the analysis type, and then it tells you, oh, you need to pick 2 dimensions, 1 measure, and it recommends which dimensions and measures you pick, and then it creates the charts for you. And then the question one that I mentioned, you can ask questions, text, or voice. And is accessible because it has a strong API. I can access inside a Qlik application, I can access outside in the hub, or I can access in an Alexa, as I was showing before. So, and I'll show more during the break. We can ask Alexas a few questions.
Is it only Alexa?
No.
You can use any.
If it has access to if you can access REST APIs, then yes.
Okay. It's like.
Yeah. Alexa is one example. It's just one device we chose, but it could be others. Mark has a dream that will make it true. He wants to connect to his car.
Alexa Auto.
Yeah. If you have like if the device allows you to program and has access to REST APIs, which is the common API everybody uses, then yeah, it's there. Now the third thing, so the 3 tools I want to show, that's the third. But before talking about the third, we need to define a few terminology because I'll mention a few terms, so it's good to understand that. So this sometimes we oversimplify what this tool that I'll present is. And we say, oh, it's like a chat bot, but it's way more than that because the whole thing allows us to provide knowledge management. So there is a study from Gartner that says 80% of the data in the average company, I'm not talking about large organizations, like all companies, all sizes, on average, 80% of the data is in unstructured format. What is unstructured? Well, let's understand what is structure, and then everything else is unstructured. Structure is everything, when you talk about data, it's what you think about. Anything that has a structure, like tables. A table has a structure, rows and columns. Or sometimes not necessarily a table, but a hierarchical structure, like JSON is like a hierarchy structure. This is structure. Things from Excel, databases, delimited files, these are structured data. So these are good. I mean, we know how to work with this for decades. But 80% of the data is unstructured. They are inside emails. They are inside PDF documents, video files, audio files, training documents, Confluence, SharePoint. They are in images. They are unstructured, but there's knowledge. Because if you need to know something, you go to those documents, to those unstructured data. If you need to know what is the policy for, I don't know, PTO during the end of the year, what is the company policy? Oh, you need to go to a document. There's no table with the policy. It's knowledge. But you might not find the document, you might find different versions of the document. So which one is true?
But I'm thinking of like medical, like all those documents.
Yeah. Or insurance is another example. Documents, contracts. There's a lot of examples. Training, education, we have a lot. We have a lot of knowledge that is in documents, and maybe in training, videos, etc. This is all unstructured. How we get information from unstructured? Well, some of them allows you to search. So we can do search. It's not, I mean, we used to it, but let's be honest. It's terrible because you need to know exactly the terms. Do they use the term policy or do they use another term? What exactly? If you don't use the exact terms, and sometimes you use a term that is so generic and you get like 1,000 results, and you have to end up reading all the documents and you're wasting a lot of time finding information. You're not 100% sure a lot of times. Ideally, what I want is to have a conversation through the documents so I can use different words, different terminology, but it will understand the meaning, the context, what I'm trying to get. So the traditional search doesn't work so well, but then we have what we call the RAG, which is Retrieval Augmented Generation. So it's using language capabilities to be able to search information in documents. Search is not the best word, but it's kind of a search, but it's a semantic search. It's a semantic search. It's based on the context, based on the meaning, not on the specific words. And if you do a type, you can do multi-language. You can have all my documents in English, and I can ask a question in Portuguese or Czech. It doesn't matter. And we tested all of these scenarios, and it works great. Now, there's a confusion, because I just showed you a natural language processing tool in Qlik, which is inside Advisor. And this is not inside Advisor? No. So, the way we have right now, in the future, I think they will be kind of integrated into one tool. But in the present, the way we have now is for structured data, your data inside your apps, inside Advisor. That's why we have to have conversations using language to the data. For everything else, we have Qlik Answers. So for the doc, for emails, videos, all those unstructured data, then we have Qlik Answers. So that is Qlik Answers. So what is Qlik Answers? So now, again, I will oversimplify just for be easy to understand. Is an AI chatbot solution included in the Qlik platform? Is more than that, because it has more than that. Is plug and play for us who provide services. Is not good, because it's very quick to implement it. It's very simple. But at the end of the day, customer is happy, and then that's the overall goal. Customer is happy, we know we will be happy as well. Now, is this just like ChatGPT? No. There's a few problems with solutions like ChatGPT, like open solutions like that. One is the main one, and when I say this, people get surprised. ChatGPT was not designed to answer questions. When I say this, people go, what? Yeah, it is. I ask a question and reply my question, but it was not designed to do that. ChatGPT and Anthropic and other tools, they are designed to complete your sentences with the most probable way. Turns out that the most probable way to complete a question is with an answer. Isn't that the same end result? No. Because if you have a tool that is designed to answer a question, it will answer a question with the truth, with the true answer. With the answer, based on facts, based on sources. ChatGPT is designed to do fiction. You can write my code in a poem format. It will do it. It will work? I don't know, but it will do it for you. So it's like the exercise. People say, this is a joke. People say, oh, I'm really fast in math. Yeah. How much is 3,062 times 11? Oh, it's 470. Oh, it's wrong, but it was fast. So it has to be right. So if you ask a question to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT does not know the answer, it will make things up. It will create fiction. There was one time I asked about who is IPC Global, who's Mark Mearsman, and created like this great personality, historical hero, amazing. I mean, you're amazing, you're better than this guy, but it was a fiction. As far as I know, you never fought a war, and you was like this amazing Belgian hero, but he founded this company called IPC Global. There was a non-profit. We pretty much profit, but anyway. And if you don't know, there's no way you identify this as a lie. And if you ask for source, it will provide you fake sources, like books that do not exist, or books that exist with content that does not exist. Yes, because it was not designed to answer questions. So then how do you know? You need to do your research. But if you do your research, why are you using that anyway? So don't use ChatGPT for that purpose. Another problem, I want to use my documents to answer the questions. Hey, I want to use my documents to answer the questions. So are you sure you want to violate every HIPAA compliance that exists and upload your documents? Of course not. Oh, but I can implement that solution on my infrastructure. Yes, you can. And I'll show you what it takes to do it. Now, what is Qlik Answers components? We have two components. One is the user interface, what they usually like to see. The assistant, the chatbot, which I'll show in a few minutes. So the chatbot is the user interface. So that's the user see. What happens behind the scenes is the knowledge base. So that's where you provide your documents, and that's the knowledge base of the assistant. Now, one thing important to say about Qlik Answers is that on the back end, which I think is, no, it's here. In the back end, the language technology that Qlik Answers uses is Anthropic Claude, which is really, really advanced. It's the only real competitor of OpenAI. Gemini is great, but the real competitor is Anthropic. It's so advanced that Amazon just bought them. They will be the intelligence of Alexa. But the reason why Qlik integrated with it, chose that instead of ChatGPT, it's because their privacy. Those user license agreements, which were on purpose, they created very long, so you get bored, you don't read it all, and just agree. By the way, you don't have to read it now. You can. That ChatGPT is good. You can provide it to ChatGPT and ask, find me some data privacy concerns or something in that, and it'll point to, and then you can. I do that. But anyway, actually, there's a quick fun fact. Years ago, there was this company. They did as an exercise. They created this for one day. They changed their user license agreement and asked people. There was a kind of was a UK company. They sell video games, just like a GameStop, but in the UK. It was maybe 10 years ago. So they put on their license agreement that you agree to sell your soul to us. People signed it. They got 1,000 souls because people don't read it. ChatGPT license agreement says we can use your data to train your models. So that's jail time if you provide, if you put your, if it's healthcare data, forget about it. It's HIPAA compliance, violation, like big time. Anthropic Claude, which is the one Qlik Answers uses, it's on the mission of the company. Your data is your data. The data we use for our training data we purchase or are public available data Creative Commons available. So you know the data they use to train.
Yeah.
But Qlik only uses for the language part. The knowledge part is your data. So that's the difference. That's why we have the knowledge base. So Qlik Answers has a layer on top of it that if you ask a question, and then we'll send the questions, of course, Anthropic Claude will interpret the question, but only provides an answer if there is a source in your knowledge base to provide the answer. If it doesn't have a source, it will say, I don't have a source to answer this, I don't know, which is great. It's great. I want to know if you don't know. Like I'm studying math with my daughter, I ask her, if you don't know the answer, tell me, because then I can help you, because if you don't tell me, I cannot help you. Same thing. And we have many use cases. Support is one of the biggest use cases. There's so much knowledge in the company, how you find the information. So you can, even if you support agent, or maybe if you're an end user, you can use this kind of technology. Any corporate content, employees and customers can find information, or contract procurement, and like training, product assistant, help files, anything that is unstructured data, we can use it. We have a use case internally in IPC that I like it. We'll start to use it more for more people. I'll ask more people to use it, but it's running. It's running great. Basically, we have like internal webinars twice a month. All of that content we call the expert sessions. All of the content of the video, we extract the transcript, we put in Qlik Answers. So then we had 54 already of those. So you can ask questions about the content. Like we have one, for example, about session access. You can ask about session access or set analysis or anything, and we'll use the content that was taught on those trainings to provide the answer. In other scenarios, it's a video, so you need to go to watch all the videos and then find. It's like very time-consuming and tedious.
Videos become part of your knowledge base.
Yes, but that's a solution we provided. So as of right now, that's a great question. Qlik Answers cannot read data from video or audio. It's PDF, HTML, text files, Markdown. It's mostly text. But we develop a solution that we can get those text from images. We have scanned documents. It's an image. We can extract from that, or video or audio, and then we upload it to Qlik Answers. So that's a solution we developed internally. And that's the last one, I promise. And then I'll have a break. We can eat a little bit, and then I'll show this after the break. How is it done? That's very important. So, in a nutshell, that's what happens behind the scenes. You have your unstructured data, your documents, your PDFs. So all of this needs to be loaded into the knowledge base. But the way it happens, basically, all the text in the document needs to be split in different chunks of text. That chunk of text is then embedded, and embedding is an AI mechanism that is basically, that's the core of technologies like the ChatGPT, is the embedding. And if you want to know more, it's not sale because it's for free. You can go to our blog, Data Voyages. I have a video and an article where I explain how, I think it's called Attention is All You Need, because that's the heart. I explain how technology like ChatGPT works behind the scenes, but a very simple yeah, so it's very simple to understand. It's not very technical. So we do all of that, and then the embeddings of the text we store in this thing called the vector database. So this is a service you have to hire if you're not using this. And then that's on the knowledge base side. And then on the question answering side, your question, when you're using the chatbot, needs to be embedded, and then embedded, then it's transformed into a semantic search to the vector database. That's how that's the kind of the SQL of the vector database, and it returns the response back, and then we re-rank it, like putting the words in sequence, create a meaningful sentence. The LLM will produce a language from that, and you get your answer. So all of that, if you have to implement manually, because you say, oh, I can get the ChatGPT option and pay, which, by the way, it's more expensive if you do that and run on your infrastructure. But also, it's even worse. That's the simplified version. There's a lot of tasks that you need to handle. In the knowledge base, are you re-indexing and doing all of the process of feeding the vector database every time? Every day you have a new document for all the documents? No. You need to have change detection and only do the things you change. You need to do parsing. You need to do chunking. All of these, it's programming, it's services you're hiring. Qlik Answers is plug and play. You don't have to do any of this. You don't even need to know these exist. It's really plug and play, and I'll show you. So that is the first part. So let's have a break. And
Do you provide like a confidence score or something when the customer gets an answer, right? I ask a question, I get a reply. Do you provide any confidence score how accurate this response is?
I'll show that in the demo. That's a great question. I'll show in the demo. So let's have them a small break. So one quick note. So we're giving this away at the end. It's a pretty good, it's $400 worth, brand new Yeti cooler. Thanks, Qlik, who sent it. And I did not keep it, I actually giving it away. It's really new. And so I'll just assign at the end, like each one of you with a number, and I'll get who gets the number called. Gets this. Simple.
Can I get your numbers?
No.
It's $5.
So let's see all this in practice. I would like to start with these. I'm not sure if everybody can see it. This is an Alexa. Yeah, I said Alexa and she's listening. Sometimes she does not like my accent. She's a little bit xenophobic, but let's try. So we connected through something called a skill, we connected Alexa to our Qlik Cloud tenant, one of our Qlik Cloud tenants. And by doing so, I was not talking to you. Let me mute Alexa for a minute. So, and using the Inside Advisor functionality, then we can, instead of simply going to a dashboard and asking for a question, then we can use other technologies. Most of analytics is done by this concept called the dashboard-centric analytics. So the dashboard is your star. You need to go to the dashboard to find anything. However, and it's great. I mean, we like it. However, not everybody in a company actually has time or even wants to go to a dashboard to find an answer. Like a lot of executives, they don't do it because I don't have time for that. So then you give them a report. There's the report-centric analytics, which is static. It's limited. You don't have all of the beauty of analytics behind it. And it's predefined. If you need something more, and then you need to ask somebody to make a change or create another report. But there's an alternative now that technology that we have allow us to do, which is the language-centric analytics. The language-centric analytics is a term that Mark Austin and I, we actually created this term. So we mention it every time, so make it stick. But it's a real thing. So we can use language to then access analytics. So then instead of you going to analytics as an option, I mean, not replacing this, it's still, dashboards still exist, they will exist for a long time. But now we have an alternative. Instead of you going to analytics, analytics goes where you are. So if I'm an executive and I need answer to something, I can have an Alexa device on my desk. And let's say I want to know, for example, let me first I need to wake up the skill. Alexa, ask IPC Global.
That video service is not yet available
It's my
on
accent.
this device. To browse
It's not a
active
video.
services,
Alexa,
just ask-
ask IPC Global.
That video service is not yet available on this device.
She does this. Try again. Alexa, ask IPC Global.
How can I assist you today?
She doesn't like my accent sometimes. So I can play my charts, have like a slideshow, so I see in I can have like some alerts or something, or some chart to show some situations, and I can see them as they pass out, as they pass through. So I can do other things. But what I like is the language capability. So I can ask questions, and those questions are provided by the Insight Advisor. So when I ask a question to, now that the skill is active, when I ask a question to Alexa, it will access through Insight Advisor. It's just like if I use an Insight Advisor inside the Qlik app. So if I ask,
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
I didn't ask you anything. Alexa, how many patients do I have by sex?
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
She is not.
Here are the product details from Amazon.
No, I don't want that. Alexa, ask IPC Global.
That video service is not yet available on this device. To browse
She
other
only does that when I'm
services,
demoing. Alexa, ask IPC Global.
that video service is
That's why they bought Anthropic, by the way. They want to increase the. No, it's actually true. There are so many complaints about the language capabilities of Alexa, they want to increase, so they bought Anthropic. Alexa, ask IPC Global.
that video service is not.
Yes.
Alexa, ask IPC Global.
How can I assist you today?
She does not like me.
You have to. I just know how to talk to my Google, and I have to like enunciate. I have a southern accent that she doesn't like.
She doesn't like Brazilians. Ask her
Okay.
how many patients you have by sex, for example.
Hey Alexa, how many patients do I have by sex?
Okay, give me a moment.
She likes you.
She, I don't know. I've only talked to her once. I don't even know.
I was always polite to her. So she's accessing through the API, and she'll bring the question here. And what she's doing is basically accessing the Insight Advisor. So if I open Insight Advisor inside my Qlik app, it's the same thing. Still thinking? Yeah. Sometimes, usually pretty fast. Sometimes it's affected by the internet speed. So if I ask a question, Insight Advisor, if I come here and ask a question,
Insights I have created based upon your data set. The count of patients is 3,263. The largest sex, 2, is 26.1% larger than the second largest sex, 1. 2 has the largest number of patients at 1,876. 1 has the lowest number of patients at 1,387.
by the way, it did not answer that because I did the question here. It's independent. We showed this before. I didn't have Qlik open. But the thing is, the way this works, I can ask a question in Insight Advisor, and Insight Advisor will answer with charts and will give me insights. There's a skill, shows you the chart and reads the insights. So I can ask, actually you can ask, how many patients are overweight?
Hey Alexa, how many patients are overweight?
I don't know that.
She didn't know. I know.
Try the Ask IPC Global again.
Oh, okay. She's like in the whole world. She doesn't know. Hey Alexa, ask IBC Global.
How can I assist you
I must
today?
say, hey Google. What was the question? Overweight.
How many patients are, yeah.
Hey Alexa, how many patients are overweight?
Okay, give me a moment.
She's very funny.
The count of patients is 1,361, where BMI description is overweight.
Okay.
This is pulling from, is it a specific app? Sorry, I have so many questions.
So it is a specific app. No, it could be multiple apps. So there is a configuration inside the apps that you need to turn on. This first one here. Enable app for Insight Advisor chart in Activity Center. So you need to turn this on so then Insight Advisor on the app becomes enable outside of the app. By default, for security purpose, it's off. So you go to the app, which is great. So you know your whole tenant is just the applications you provide and based on your access. So the way I configure my Alexa with my Qlik access, so it's all secure, protected.
Yeah, 'cause you don't want to.
So you respect section access, all of that. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Do you create a template for the fields that are required for this?
Nope. It's all the fields in your data model. However, what happens sometimes, this is one example. I ask how many patients are overweight, and he answered this. How he knows this information. So it took a field called BMI description, and there was a value called overweight. Great. But when I mean overweight, I mean everybody that's overweight and above, like obese also. I want to include this. I want to teach.
Or above.
So remember this number because it will change. So I can come here to vocabulary, and I can inform, I can create a term, and I can say, well, you know, when I say overweight, or when I say, give me something similar, like above normal weight, I don't know. Or I can say Igor. So then I can come here, and BMI description is in overweight and obese. And create. So then I can come to back to the sheet. You can try Alexa or here. Let's try here. It's quicker. And I can ask the same question again. Now it's 18 because it includes those other patients as well. So I am an AI teacher. I thought Insight Advisor, and that's how you collaborate. And then you train the Insight Advisor with your business rule, with your terminology, etc. And it's super simple. It's vocabulary. You don't have to write a single line of code. Super simple. Okay, so but that is one of the things I want to talk about. When we talk about AI, one thing that people do not discuss a lot is, can everybody use AI? Can every company use AI? Well, not currently. You need to be AI ready. And what it means to be AI ready. AI, it's one step in your data journey. That's what a lot of people don't tell. Yeah, you can implement AI. But if you're not ready, I mean, you're not ready. You need to be ready. If your data, for example, it's in paper, not in a computer, for example. There's a lot of things you need to do prior. So you need to be ready, which will benefit the whole company overall. But what all the companies need to have, even if it's an AI strategy, what we do in terms of AI, not necessarily just how the company is using AI, but what is the policy about employees using AI? Are we allowing, not allowing? What is the policy? What is good practice, bad practice? What is the responsibility and ethical use of AI, responsible and ethical use of AI that we're implementing? So we need to have a strategy AI, even if the strategy is we're not implementing in the next 3 years. We need to define that why and what is the plan. Not because everybody's doing, but because it's actually a game-changing thing. So, but in order to get that, we need to reach a certain level of maturity. The first level of maturity in your data journey is when you have data and you then basically using analytics to describe your data. Just tell my data to me. So I don't need to write SQL. That's what we call the descriptive analytics. It's just describing the data. Here's an example. This is a dashboard that shows me this number of patients I have, the average cholesterol, average BMI, etc. I have a few pretty charts, but I'm only describing the data that I have. That's it, which is great. Great, but it's only the first step. It only tells you the present and the past. How about the future? Well, that's why we have the predictive analytics. Now, this is a healthcare example, but this is applicable for any industry, like manufacturing, for example, for maintenance plan, when machines will break, for example. So we're predicting here, not a machine, but when a human will break, in this case, we're predicting customers that will develop CVD, cardiovascular disease. Is this customer developing CVD in 5 years? That's the range we're calculating. In 5 years, is the patient developing cardiovascular disease? This is prediction analysis. For every single patient, we're predicting they developing yes or no. This is not a risk score calculation. I do not have to inform the rules. I just inform the data, and then based on the data, the module learn from it. And I can make selections if I want to specify a specific type of patient, but that's what it's predicting. Great. But if I only have a prediction, there's only a limited things that I can do with the prediction. I can tell the patient, you're going to develop cardiovascular disease. Oh, what can I do? I don't know. I just know you're doing it. You cannot do anything. Just tell your family, increase your life insurance, that's it. No, I want to know, but I mean, really, what is the chance? Then we have the second piece of information AutoML gives me, which is the probability. For this one, for example, is 56%. So it's, yeah, maybe, but not like a high probability. But this one here, 82%. Yeah, it's pretty high. This one, 94%. Maybe this is me. 94%. Let me see, male, age. No, I'm younger than this. So this is, it gives me the prediction and the probability. Great. But then I'll tell the patient, you're having this, and that's the probability. That is great information. That is great information. If I can, for example, predict this patient length of stay, predicting the hospital, it's 60 days. It's great for like planning rooms and costing and all of that. However, well, is this right? Why is this, the model is predicting this? What can I do? In that case, I don't want this to happen. I don't want to lose a customer, or I don't want a patient to develop cardiovascular disease, or I don't want a machine to break. So why the model is predicting this? So now then we go to the third phase of your data journey, which Qlik AutoML also provides, which is the diagnostic analytics. So we went through descriptive to predictive, now diagnostic. So diagnostic tells you why. It's the explanation. That is one of the pillars, the fundamentals of what we call the responsible AI. It's transparency. The AI gives you something and explains why. So Qlik AutoML will give you the prediction, the probability of the prediction, and also the explanation. So first of all, it gives me what are the most important columns to make the prediction. This is overall for the entire module, for the whole hospital. Number of hospitalizations is number one, age is second, time, which is a weird, is the time the patient developed certain condition, is a weird naming for a column, but anyway, and these are the other ones. Things like systolic blood pressure, I thought it was higher, but not as much. Even if there was a prevalent cardiovascular disease in your family, or stroke or hypertension, it's not as high as these other ones. Great. So I know the most important information. However, what does it mean? Hospitalization is the most important, meaning more hospitalization, you have a higher chance, or maybe you have a lower chance because you've been taken care of. I don't know. So I need something else, not only what is important, but how it is important. I need context. We call this direction and distribution, because then we say, no, yeah, we're data scientists, we know more, so I can charge more. No, I'm kidding. That's the technical term. Direction, distribution. And it's different because every patient, every person is different, every company, every machine is different. That's the beauty. It tells you the context, because Qlik AutoML, when it provides you this information, it provides for every single row. So that's why we have plotted here. So the numbers in red, each bubble, it's a patient. The ones in red are negative importance, meaning it reduces your chance of developing cardiovascular disease. So in this case, red is good. To prevent cardiovascular disease. So for some patients, but they're very close to zero, which is this line here, some patients, number of hospitalization actually decrease the chance of them having cardiovascular disease. I can select those patients and see what's the number. But most of the patients, it increases the chances. Age, it's half and half. So of course, if you're older, increase your chance. If you're younger, decrease your chance. That's probably what's telling me. How can I confirm? You can select those bubbles and see the patients and see the value. You don't need to trust me. You can trust the data. And same for others. Like prevalent stroke is interesting. Mostly non-important, probably because there's some other that are more important than this kind of becomes also unnecessary. There's one here, probably a very specific patient. Everybody has heart problem in their family. Maybe it's literally one patient. So this tells me a lot. This tells me the context. Now, I understand that overall. So that is the diagnostic. We are already using AI here. We're already using AI in the other, in the previous one. So after you get the description, you have the data, you already can implement AI. So this is all AI implemented on behind the scenes. Then, what do I do? Then we have another level, which is prescriptive analytics. So what should I do? Should I start a diet? So what should I do? So this is a more, of course, we need human expertise in this case because it's health, care, it's serious stuff. But we can get insights from an AI. So we have this, we use in the integrate because I want to show the native, embedded, and integrated, all the capabilities. So this is the integrated. Let's connect this to Anthropic Claude, and let's use as a chatbot with structured data. So this is not Qlik Answers. So let me make a few selections. Let me select, for example, patients who are predicted to have cardiovascular disease. Let's say they have diabetes, they overweight or obese, they smoke, and they have high cholesterol. Only 14 patients. The questions for the patient select give me a way to avoid heart problems. I think there's a T missing. And now it's sending this data, not the actual data patient, just the selections that I'm selected. And it's sending that to Anthropic Claude, and then Anthropic Claude gave me an answer. It's too small, so let me read it. Here are some ways the patients can avoid heart problems and cardiovascular disease. Stop smoking, number one. Lower cholesterol, manage diabetes through medication, diet, exercise, lose weight. So, great. And I can answer in Spanish or whatever I want to, yes.
In that response is the RAG part of it?
No.
It's not.
I mean, it is, but not the Qlik RAG, is the Anthropic Claude.
Okay, but it's his
Actually, no, it's not RAG, it's not RAG. It's just, no, because it's not consulting documents.
Okay.
I'm sending the data as text. I'm sending like a list, like rows of, like as a structure of data through this API connection and then getting the response back. So it's not the RAG yet. But it's something that we can use. Not that doesn't require human intervention, but something we can use. Now, another thing I can do, let's say, let me select, I think I have a patient here pre-selected, and Oh, something happened.
Can you ask for a specific patient?
Oh, there you go. I was just, yeah. So now this, it's something else. So let me pick one specific patient. There we go. So I have one patient here. It's a male patient that, let me see, this age, has that systolic blood pressure. So let's say for that specific patient, this is the patient information. And I can make changes here. Let's say, oh, it's not actually 163 systolic blood pressure. It's actually a bit higher. So I can change this. And as I change this, I'm sending information through something called the real-time API to AutoML, and AutoML is doing a real-time prediction. Real-time, live, within milliseconds. And then so that patient is predicted to develop cardiovascular disease with 81.5% probability. So what should I do with this patient? How can we avoid this? Well, let's try. First thing I'll try is, well, maybe stop smoking. Let's see what happens. Okay, 74%. This is good, improved, but still. How about we try to lower your cholesterol to normal levels, something below 240. How about this? Still predicted, something going on here. Still predicted to develop cardiovascular disease, but we'll see this. It will, I don't know what's happening with this today. Okay, there we go. We're just refreshing. Now, if we reduce your blood pressure, it's pretty high. This is systolic blood pressure. So let's do something like 120 something. Okay, still a higher probability, but that's below the threshold. So that's predicted to not develop cardiovascular disease. For this particular model, we're only considering, because we were adjusting for true positives, so only considering really high probability as developing. Great, so every time I make a selection here, let's say we did this, but then he smoking again. Then we recalculate real time. So that's the real-time API capabilities. And then later, the last thing I want to show is Qlik Answers. So I embedded Qlik Answers inside the Qlik application. We can do it externally, but that's how I did it. So this is a Qlik Answers that we fed medical papers to it. So we can ask medical questions. And I have a few pre-setting questions here just to make it easier. What is cardiovascular disease? And I ask the question. And now this is using the RAG functionality of Qlik. So then it's checking documents. And then it gave me an answer. Cardiovascular disease, CVD, refers to a group of disorders affecting the heart and blood vessels, etc. Okay, can I trust this? You don't have to. You have the sources. See, view two sources. That's the big difference. It tells you where it found the information. So if I click the sources, then I have two sources. This is the document. It's where in the document it found that information. And then that's the second reference. There's another document, and it's explained that. You can, if you have the rights in the space, you can download the document and see for yourself the whole document. It tells you the source. If I ask a question that it does not know the answer, like what causes, I don't know what would not know. I put a lot of paper here. Who is going to win the Yeti? I know it's not in my knowledge base. I'm sorry, I don't have any information to answer that question, but I could help with something else. So, this is an example. So I don't have that information. Tell me when you don't know. This is very valuable. Now, let me try something that it might have. For example, I think what causes, give me a type of cancer. thyroid cancer. Hopefully it doesn't know thyroid cancer. Hopefully it doesn't know so we can teach it. I'm sorry, I don't know. So I can give the feedback, thumbs down. I can say it was unhelpful, and I can then type here, I need this answer. Okay, now,
Can you upload the document?
let's do it. So, this is just the user interface. Let me show behind the scenes, as an admin, what I will see. As an admin, this assistant, Qlik Answer assistant, called the Framingham Papers, has one knowledge base. The knowledge base is this, Framingham Heart Study QB knowledge base. And I'll open it in a minute so you can see what is inside. Now, as an admin, I can come here, and that's when it becomes a knowledge management. I can go to review, and I'll see what my users are asking and what kind of answers I have. Actually, cool, this is a new design. They just released this week. It was a different design. This is prettier. Look at this. What causes thyroid cancer? I'm sorry, that's the answer. Feedback negative. All the feedback the user gave. Great. I can take an action. I can view conversation status, create a conversation status. So I can take actions on this, but what I really need to do is to help, in this case, is to help this user to have that knowledge base. So let me go back to overview. And let me open this knowledge base. Open a new tab. So that's the knowledge base that I have. 18 documents, 220 pages, and these are the documents. Okay? So I can add new documents to this knowledge base, or I can create a brand new knowledge base. Let's do a new knowledge base. So I can come here. Let me go to answers. This they released, I think, this week. There's shortcuts here. So I want to do a new knowledge base. I will save this. What space I want to save this? I want to save this to pick a space here. This one is good. I'll call this cancer knowledge base. I think I have a cancer book in my computer. Don't ask me why. Create. You notice that I have to pick a space to save this. Why this is important? Are you guys familiar with the Apple TV show called Severance? It's your so if you're not, let me explain the show. Severance is a show. Basically, there is this company, super secret company. They work with super secret stuff. In order to work there, they implement something in your brain that splits your memory into two pieces. So when you get inside the company, you don't remember anything from the outside world. You don't know if you have a family. You don't know nothing. Zero. If you're struggling with personal problems after outside of work, you have no idea. You're a brand new person, 100% focused on work. When you leave the company, you forget everything that happened inside the company, so you cannot leak any information. So, for the people outside, for the part of your brain that is outside of the company, it's great because I'm going to work, then I'm leaving work because you forgot 8 hours of your day. So you never work and you get your salary. Great. For the person inside the company, it's slavery. You left work and you're coming back right after. But anyway, it's because the knowledge base, it's saving a space, and a space has security attached to it. You have your personal severance. Meaning, I can have one assistant with many knowledge bases. Let's say finance, HR, all knowledge bases. If my users have access to HR but not finance, Their assistant can only access the HR, not the finance part. So I'm not saying that Qlik will implement a chip in your brain. They're not doing that yet. Say it again?
Governance challenge. Permissions and
Mm-hmm.
managing. Okay,
Yeah.
you are assigned to this role.
Yes, but it's great because you're already doing that for the other things in the analytics. You're already doing that for your dashboards. So you just use the same. Yeah, so you're already doing it. Yeah, because if you already have that for your data, for the other things, then you just use the same for Qlik Answers. So it's not an actual work for security.
I was gonna ask that because I was like, well, you could just ask it, how much money does everyone make?
Things like that, yeah.
Like things like it really is. So,
Um,
but it would be hidden.
But then you need to make sure you protect properly. Now, what is the source of knowledge base? So I can use a data connection, so the knowledge doesn't need to be in the Qlik Cloud. It could be somewhere else, like in your Amazon S3 buckets, or in Confluence, or in SharePoint. So you don't need to bring the data. It's stored here, so you can simply use a data connection. It could be in a Google Drive, Dropbox. There's a lot of options. If the data is already in the Qlik catalog, you can come here, or things like simple like this. I just want to upload a file. So let me upload a file, and I will find. Let me go to articles, medical knowledge base, and I think I have cancer. I never test with that specific type of cancer, so it may not work. Hopefully they have thyroid cancer in this document, so let's give it a try. Upload. There we go. So I have my knowledge base. So am I ready? Not yet. Just adding the document to the knowledge base is the same as buying a book. And some people get surprised when I say this. If you just buy a book, you're not smarter. You need to read the book. Just buy the book and have in your shelf. It's the same. It's just decoration piece. You need to read the book. So this document needs to be converted and saved in the vector database. How do I do it? Index. So there's a button here, index. It's one document only, so that will, with my mouse, that will be quick. And that will be the last part of the demo, and then we're ready for the Yeti. It's doing all of it's doing the chunking, the parsing, embedding, and storing the vector database that we don't have to worry about. It's all handled automatically by Qlik. So it's in progress. Hmm? Yep. Automatically. So it will be done in a few seconds. There we go. Done. Completed. So one document with 11 pages. Great. Now I have the knowledge base. I can come back to my assistant, and I can add the knowledge base to my assistant. So let me add it. Select. There we go. I have now 2 knowledge bases in my assistant. I can add as many as I want. Now I can come back here, or I can go directly here if I want, and ask the same question again. Hopefully that document has thyroid cancer, and it does. And now, let me see. Make sense? Can be caused by exposure to radiation during childhood. Radiation exposure is a known risk factor, etc. Now he knows. And I can check the source, which, no surprise, is the document that I uploaded, of course. So I didn't know before, now he knows. Study, he's actually a big nerd. That's what I have prepared today. Questions? Hope you like it. Thanks for facing traffic. Actually, can I take a picture of everyone? I always wanted to do this and I always forget. Let me do a big selfie. No. All right, let's see. All right, questions?
So when you gave the back negative earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a loop back mechanism that says you have now addressed that? I thought I saw you click on something earlier.
Oh no, I just had a conversation started, so then it will show as a default question. No, so that is something. So let me go back to the review. So that is something. I know it's in the roadmap, but we don't have like a direct communication. What I can do as an admin is mark, oh, this was review, but I need to communicate directly to the user from other means. But it's in the roadmap, like to get like some like a notification. The user get a notification. You're kind of a ticket thing.
There should be human in the loop
Yes, which is important actually.
to fix that.
Yeah.
Either
Yes.
to provide data or to provide.
Yeah, which is it's the responsible way of handling these situations. By the way, we don't have we'll take more time to show it. So, but there is a monitoring app. There's a Qlik app that it's available. You just need to enable it. That you can actually have all of these in a Qlik app, so you know what are the documents most frequently used, what are the users who most use it, what are the most common questions and things like that. So really have like a knowledge. Let's say, oh, there's a lot of people asking about this, so maybe we need to do like a webinar or something like to clarify this information, things like that. So then it becomes a true knowledge management tool.
Yes.
I heard the Qlik is working on a version that integrates Qlik Answers inside devices. Like
Yes, that's on the roadmap. That's one of the biggest announcements that they promised. I don't know when. I don't think Qlik knows when. I will guess something close to Qlik Connect in May, which, by the way, if you can, I recommend everybody to go qlikconnect.com. It's pretty good. And if you do this year, there's I think $500 discount
Where is it?
on the ticket price. Disney.
In Disney World.
Yeah, pretty cool. If you go, I'll buy you a drink there. Just find me.
You had a couple more questions.
Yes. I mean, Qlik will buy the drink, but I'll tell you. Yes.
So I've not tried this, but if we are connecting it, for example, let's say Google Drive,
Mm-hmm.
we are pasting multiple, like say, text file or PDFs.
Mm-hmm.
So it will automatically create the knowledge base by indexing the files.
Yeah. So we did that with. I didn't do it with Google Drive, but we did for with Amazon S3 buckets, for example. But yeah. So when you're adding, let me go to the knowledge base here. So when you add in files, if you add through a connection. So I have this connection, for example. Let's say I add from a connection. It could be a Google Drive connection. It could be any of the connections available. If you do that, the only thing you need to do is to schedule an update, which is so far, because this costs a lot of money for Qlik, a lot of money, the processing behind the scenes. So right now, we only can do daily. I mean, you can do more often, but you need to do the manual. The schedule one, it's only daily, but yes, then it's automatically. If a document was not changed, it's not re-indexing them, so all the changing management, it's included in that.
so far we don't have automation with those connectors. for
Yeah.
Qlik Answers, right?
No, so they have an API, but it's private so far. They will release an API because they're working on new functionalities and documentation, all of that. So, but it will soon. I don't have a date because I don't work for Qlik, so I don't have a date. But I know, based on what people are talking, will be available soon. The API, so then you can like do an automation. Then it will be, yeah. But they're kind of careful about that because of the costing, because they're eating their cost. And it's really expensive. Like embedding and indexing in a vector database, that's really expensive.
The will update the document, or it will also add the, for example, I have a couple of sales people.
Mm-hmm.
So they are uploading all their findings on one particular drive. So I want the, kind of create a knowledge base for different sales people.
Mm-hmm.
So each one is having their own, say, like that. It will also read TXT files also, all unstructured data.
So
putting their text files, so then this connection will.
if you have, so the same document in different knowledge bases or one knowledge base for different people?
One knowledge base and different versions.
Oh, then it's one knowledge base is only refresh ones and they all access. And then you'll handle if you have new documents, if you have removed documents, if you have changes in a document. So all of that is handled automatically. It's pretty cool. And so if you follow, I know that some of you read some of our articles in Data Voyager. So there is a lot of articles about Qlik Answers here. Every single one of them, when I started, and I'm being 100% honest, I was trying to test the limits of the tool. So I was trying to break it. I was trying to find where it does not work to explain the limits. And every time I try, the crazier things, oh, this works. So I have to, now I need to write about this because I have like some kind of preliminary text explaining why it does not work. And then I just, wow, this works. And then I'll go study and understand a little bit more. So it's pretty good. And we tested all of this, like the rescheduling. Let me remove document, change document. Let me change one page, multiple pages. Let me change one word. So we tested all of this.
Do you provide auto prompting because prompt engineering is a challenge, right? Because the way you ask the question.
Yeah. So no, that's I don't think that's available. I don't.
Different prompts to see the accuracy of the results that are coming out.
So accuracy is an interesting thing. So accuracy, prompt engineer is an important thing. I don't know a tool that does that well. What I recommend is you need to have a train your team on prompt engineers. What kind of words, what kind of language, how you actually ask proper questions. Like give details, give context, work based on roles and when you're asking your questions. And because this is less creative, it's more like answering questions, it's more data-driven. Prompt engineer doesn't affect as much as in ChatGPT because I want to create a write resume or this or that, so I need to provide what is the tone and things like that. So I don't need to worry about that much. One of the biggest thing about accuracy is the format of the document. It's sometimes you have a document that have images or have a few problems, so you need to do some data preparation prior. These are the exceptions, by the way, but there's some documents we need to do that. And then, we have techniques that we actually developed to perform those types of tasks as well. Like we have documents that were very old documents. They were not text, they would scan images of text. And we even had problems, the pages were scanned, they were kind of a little skewed. So we did all of that programmatically, like unskew, detect, background color, and all of that to take the text, do a spell check, because sometimes there's missing words in the scan because of the quality. So you can do all of that, but that's kind of outside. But then you can talk to us, we can work together. And more questions? So let's do this. Memorize your number, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. Bill 1, 2, 3, 4. Bill 5. Mark 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right.
So it's like Price is Right, right?
So I got this. If you want to audit the numbers later, feel free. And let's see what number I think it's here. Is it here? Okay. I have 22 numbers here. So let's see. Number is 4. You got it.
The first drawing was for the extra pizza.
Enjoy. Oh, a picture. I need to register the moment. So I'm delivering. I do not take it. Congratulations. Thanks for coming. I only have one. Sorry. Thank you, everyone.